It said that it wasn't recording,
Okay.
so
All right, we'll
I
start.
wanted to double check.
That's okay. This is the part that really needs to be recorded, so. Okay.
So again, the idea is to create that business account relationship so you can do it for multiple communities. If you have not done that, you need to walk through that process. We're not going to go too in the weeds on this. It kind of gets a little confusing. So our Salesforce IT team does advise a lot more on this side. Let me pause and address the chat here. So can we use our existing account or do we need to create a new account? From Rosemary, your existing account should work, is from what I understand. We're just changing the interface for the actual application. So you shouldn't have to update any of the actual account information if you already have one established. Again, once you finish creating that account relationship, you'll have legal information of the applicant city or county to enter or associate with your account. So you will be able to see that information linked to your account. If you do have any issues, again, reach out to our IT Salesforce team. They'll be a lot more in touch with how to walk on that back end with you. However, we do have that step-by-step guide resource, which I think a few of us went through and created test accounts with that. So it should be a functional resource. If you need help interpreting it, reach out to us and we can connect you with IT if we don't have the answer. But again, that application support Salesforce resources tab is now part of the resource library. So it's just a little bit more sectioned out for you for reference.
So, back to that slide, if you're having technical difficulties with the website or the portal, those questions go to that Salesforce email. If you're having content questions about what you should be entering, how something's set up or something like that, that kind of relates to what we do with CDBG, you talk to us, just so that everybody knows. If you do send an email to the Salesforce team, I would like you to CC me or Jason or Tim, just so that we know something's going on. But the Salesforce people most likely will be the ones to respond.
And usually they pull us in, but if we're there from the beginning of the conversation, it's just more helpful for us. So again, if you have any issues creating an account, if you don't already have one, please work on that as well. So once you log in, you get to the application gateway and we no longer have that button down at the bottom that says, CDBG grants. We have just these program buttons, these tiles. So you're gonna have to click on those left-hand and right-hand arrows to navigate through those tiles for the particular program you want to get to. Let me go ahead and back out of this slideshow and show you just what we're looking at here. So this is my account, if it's going to bring up itself. Try this again. Like I said, this may not be the most beneficial, so we may just go back to the slides. Oh, gosh. Well, we won't do the internet. Let's go ahead and just go back to our handy dandy slides. So once you get to the application gateway, you're going to have those options for programs. From there, you'll enter into the funding opportunity page, the landing page, so to speak.
After you pick your program.
After you pick your program. So click on the tile, learn more and apply. And you're going to come to this page with information pulled from our guidelines. So it's corresponding information with those guidelines. It also features helpful information like the end date for, again, the application. We've got a program contact down in the bottom right-hand corner there. So if you look at all these arrows, and then we also have other important dates. So when it closes, when it opens, when we're awarding, that sort of information can be put in. And right now, because we're operating on that monthly system, we're understanding that awards will be issued monthly. So we don't have a particular award date logged in there just yet. But for other grants and other commerce programs, they'll have that on there. So just look for this funding opportunity page, click apply now. From there, yeah, go ahead.
Make sure when you are on this page that you look at the very top where it says the type of grants that you're applying for. Because if you happen to click on, let's say, a large grant, but you want to apply for a small grant and you submit your application that way, you cannot go back and fix it to say, oh, this was supposed to be a small one. You have to actually redo the entire application. So that's part of the reason why this page was added, was so that we know as an applicant, which program you are applying for. So double check those when you log in and you see this.
All right. So then from there, you're gonna find the city or county that is the applicant. So again, you should have established that business relationship. And once you find that, you click yes. And moving forward, you're verifying that that legal information is the same as the applicant. Right now, I just have Marysville up there. But this is an example that we're not gonna walk through. But again, finding that associated city or county that you are making the application for as the administrator or clerk. From there, a separate window will pop up, says go to your application, and you're gonna click on that link. It'll take you right to our landing page, which is got all the individual tabs sorted in terms of how you walk through the application. In order to begin the application, you're gonna click on those blue edit buttons. So once you open that corresponding section, it'll navigate to that particular section. From here on, you're gonna kind of see some repetitive steps, but it's gonna, again, verify that you are applying for the particular commerce program. So you begin on program information. So we have our steps listed out on the side. So you walk into that whole process. So just verify again that your program matches what the application you want. And then from there, we're going into our first section, which is the application questions. So this is general information about the applicant, city or county. Initially, when you get to this tab, you're going to see your contact information. So again, you're going to see the administrator's contact information up top, and then you're going to enter in the information of the account you're applying on behalf of below. So you are entering information for your applicant, city or county. If there is another non-governmental entity that's included, you would issue those under a sub-applicant as well. So just more information that you input, pretty familiar terms if you've walked through a CDBG application, just laid out a little bit differently. So again, we're walking through citizen participation. You're inputting date of publication, date of public hearing, name of the newspaper or publication, project address. So again, a lot of this is going to get pulled automatically or to our transparency database. That's why Salesforce is kind of switching up our layout here. So it's going to correspond directly with that database that we advertise publicly for public dissemination. So when you put in your project address, try to be as accurate as possible. If you do not have a street address, or if your project encompasses perhaps an entire city or county, just try to use, that office information that you have available to you. But particularly, we do want to narrow that down as much as we can, so that way the database reflects where our projects are in the state.
So for example, if you have a street project that's in a residential area, obviously it's benefiting multiple people. It's not an actual address. You would just use the city or the county's address for your project's location.
And then you also see below, you're going to input, total persons benefiting, total LMI benefiting. This is just information that you are used to inputting, and determine your method of LMI. From there, project type, you can pick from the particular, if you are making this application for CF large, it's going to have the different types of projects that you could do for CF large. Again, we have an other option if you don't have something that corresponds with library, ADA improvements, community center, those sorts of things. So if you do have another option, just select other. They're in alpha order, I believe. So we've worked on that. So just try to pick the most applicable project type for us. So that way you have the right set of questions. Perhaps sometimes I think ADA asks different questions for our applications. So just make sure you're selecting the right project type. Again, inputting your LMI determination. So how did you arrive at that determination, whether that was census or you conducted a survey or you're claiming the limited clientele benefit. So again, particularly if you're filling out an application for youth job training or any ADA compliance improvements or childcare center options or senior centers as well. particular, more application questions that pop up are things about your state representative, state senator, US representative, information that you either know or can find online. So we need that information so that we can provide their appropriate legislative contacts with projects in their area, their districts. So that way they are aware and hip to what is going on in community development in their towns and constituent areas. We do have something called performance capacity, same field as last year. You're just either identifying whether you're working with consultants or in-house staff or you have administrators, I believe. So you're just selecting from a couple of options there. Another drop down. And then from there, our third process in this application questions tab is community needs. So the community needs subsection is required for all applications. If you don't have it, it's threshold items. Just make sure you are including this brief and precise narrative describing your whole community needs. You do not discuss the project need here. You are thinking about housing total holistic needs of the community. So again, there is a word count limit on that, or a character count limit, I think, as we had to set it up. So please be again brief and precise as much as possible, concise with your language. So that way, you know, we do require this, but this is not the intent of the application. Civil rights information, again, largely numbers that you pull from census database, but we do need that reported to us as we have to input that on our federal reporting side as well. So please make sure you are filling out that part of the application. And from there, it'll navigate back to the main page, and you'll see that the status goes from a red X, if we go all the way to the back. So when we start, it has a red X right by the status. It says not started. And then once you do walk through all those steps, sorry to make everyone nauseous with these slides, but it says completed, and it'll have a green check mark verifying that you have completed that section. So that way you know that you have filled out all the appropriate steps. It's going to repeat that for every section that we walk through today. So it's anytime you walk through a section, you walk through all your steps, you'll know that you have done that because you can verify it with that symbol next to the status. So from there, again, we're looking at the next section after application questions. We have previous projects. So you can proceed to the previous project section. From here, again, you're going to verify that you're applying for the right program. And then you're going to report any previous projects you have from CDBG within your community or your applicant city or county. So again, you do need to input a digit into this box, because if you do not, it won't let you proceed. So again, it's not going to automatically update once you add it to the list below. You're going to have to input, I have one previous project reporting, I have two previous projects reporting. Otherwise, the system will bug you for that information. So again, putting in your number is important in that line. And from there, you click new for anything that you need to report. And you're going to input all the appropriate information. I believe we have like project year, we have project type. So again, you can leave that simple or you can complicate that. But what we need to see is, again, the accurate representation of those projects. So right now, for this example, I just put sidewalks and trails. That's the applicable program, perfectly acceptable. And then your percent complete the project. So if your project's still open, perhaps it's not fully complete, but if your project is closed 100%, and then you can also log your appropriate closeout date when you closed out the project. So this is a historical record that we need for our applications. So that way we understand, you know, how to assess those bonus points for the applications that are able to receive those bonus points for the 5-year window. From there, again, once you finish those steps, it's going to take you back to the main page. You're going to see that green check mark across previous projects. You're going to scroll down to funding sources. That's our third tab here. And we're going to go to that section of the application. Again, clicking the blue edit button. This section is going to ask for the total requested amount and other funding sources amounts. So again, you're going to input any dollar values that you have. We have a minimum and maximum established for each program, so you can kind of see those up there. It's not just locked into our PDF guidelines, it's part of the system now. So you're going to request your amount and provide any local match that you have secured. From here, it's gonna have an automatic calculator. So we've established our match requirements within the system, so it's gonna do math for you live. So if you input something that's less than 20%, if it's required 20% match for that particular program, it's gonna notify you that you don't have enough match, you need to add another funding source. You know, for this example, I just kind of said that the city had as much cash on hand as they were requesting. But you might have different amounts, of course, but you're gonna add that source just like you would add the previous project of the previous section. So it's a familiar interface. You're not having to reinvent the wheel each time. So just click new and that window's gonna pop up. It's gonna ask you your source name, contact name, any amounts that are provided. And once you get that total amount that is required for that required match amount, it's gonna let you proceed. And again, remember to enter in that number that says total number of sources of funding. It will notify you, it'll become a red box, but it's just something to kind of get ahead of. So that way you're not bogged down by this application process. From there, once you finish those steps, again, you're gonna go back out to the main page. And you're gonna go to professional service contractors. This is where you input any architects, engineers that you have pre-selected, any administrators that you have pre-selected. I believe we already had an application where we had to go back and enter in our administrators. So before we move on, let me address the chat here. Do we still need to provide a statement from the city's bank or county's bank documenting that they have the cash? Deb Oldie is asking that in the chat. I believe we want all of our local match secured, so we do need evidence that is secured. So a letter would probably be an appropriate document to provide to us.
Yes, a letter from the bank
Yep.
that says what is appropriated, because we don't want to see like the actual bank statements, because we don't know how much that money's for CDBG. We just want something official from the city's bank or the county's bank that says that that money is set aside specifically for it.
Yeah. And once we get to the supplemental document section, that's where you would upload that. But we do need documentation provided in order to evidence the security of those funds. So again, professional service contractors, you're going to enter this information just like you would for previous projects, as well as those match sources. So you're going to click on the new button, enter any information in that you have available. So the UEI, type of service that's provided, perhaps the proposed cost of that professional service contractor. And then, of course, the source of payment. So if it's a CDBG cost or a local cost, you're going to associate that here in the application stage. You're going to provide, of course, the firm name. So I just put Regional Planning Council just as a generic thing. But if you have a specific company that you're needing to input, put that specific company name for us. Anytime you are proceeding, you're hitting that save and next button. Again, another blue button just below on the bottom right of the screen.
And everyone will probably, almost everyone will have at least one thing in the professional contractors.
Yeah.
Unless you're doing, let's say, a small grant and you are running that as a city yourself, you don't hire an administrator and you don't need an architectural report or an engineering report. So you don't have to put that person in there. Otherwise, almost everyone's gonna have at least an administrator and most likely an engineer or an architect.
And the way you would indicate that again is whether you're running that with in-house staff or not. You select that on the previous application questions. From there, you go to your application narrative. So again, we roll through those steps of professional services contractors. It's going to take us back to the main page. We're going to see our section highlighted with a green check mark saying that we proceeded through all those steps. We're going to have saved and next all that information so we don't have to go back and revisit it. But we're going to scroll down to application narrative. Again, red X, we need to complete it. So hit that edit button. We do have those narrative questions available ahead of the application submission. Those of you who are familiar with that, we have those resources available on our CDBG website. Some guidelines haven't been released yet, but we will be releasing those. Answers to these questions should be drafted before the application, because again, you don't want to draft that in the browser. Something could go wrong. You could close that. You might not have saved it. So please draft those in a separate word processing system so that way you can copy paste and you know what you're copy pasting rather than working in a small window that is unfocused and hard to work through. The narrative section does not have a print option again this year. We do not encourage you to, again, type directly into the browser window. Please draft these beforehand. Please make sure the narrative is complete. Once you save your narrative section, you cannot edit that section. So please make sure, you are taking the diligence to have that completed when you copy paste, just like last year. I think we already mentioned this. Again, just think about conciseness. We like illustrative examples. We like to be won over with emotion as readers. So, thinking about that, but also thinking about the time it takes to review an application. How can we best communicate this information indirectly and most applicably? So think about, again, the need and the story behind the project. Focus on those elements. Try to avoid accessory details. So we're just gonna kind of show you what that portal looks like. So once you click on those narrative questions, this is kind of what comes up. We have the questions pasted to the side of the part in which you paste your response. So as you can see, that window is kind of a goofy layout. So please draft those beforehand, and you can extend that window by dragging that bottom right corner there with the little ridged edge. But it's gonna have your points available as well as which question corresponds to which box. Once you enter in that response, you can hit save, because if you don't hit save, then it won't save your response. So please hit save for each section. And once you hit save for all the sections, you've entered in all your responses for that narrative, you need to still mark it as completed. Because if you hit back or whatever, you will not have submitted that section, so it will not mark it complete. So please mark that as complete. There's a little radio button that's, I believe, at the top and bottom of the page. It's green, so you shouldn't be able to miss it too easily. So please just make sure you're hitting that, so that way you lock that section for editing. We're gonna go back to the main page. Again, find our next section. This is new to all commerce grants. This is something we've had to add. It's a very brief yes or no drop down situation, but it is something called a capacity assessment. And this is for all of our applicants for all of our grant programs. This is something that is automatically scored by your responses. It's something we don't even review ourselves, CDBG, but it is something that we need to collect, so that way we have something internally as a record of the risk assessment of different grantees and awardees and applicants. But it's a capacity assessment. It's gonna have this basic set of questions here. Again, yes, no answers. If you say yes, it's gonna ask you potentially, have any of those grant funds been returned or withdrawn? So again, answering yes or no to the best of your ability. This is gonna provide a score, I believe. I'm not sure what the numbers are, like 1 through 3 or something like that. There's a total number value associated with the capacity of the applicant. That's on the back end. Again, that's nothing CDBG will probably ever pull up immediately. But if we do have that record to review, that is something that's required for commerce going forward. So you'll see that on all of your grant applications going forward for commerce. So again, something we're collecting, something new this year, but just drop down windows, nothing too terrible. And then from there, you're going to go back to that main section window or section period of the application. You have the application agreement, which pops up, very quick section there. You hit edit. It's going to go to the statement that all these activities, fit under the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974 and their applicable activities. So again, if you agree with the above statement, you're going to hit yes, and that's simply the entire section there. So you're going to go back out to the main section again, scroll down. You see the green check mark has been applied to the previous section, to the agreement. Now you're going to go to supporting documentation. And this is why we're probably not doing a live application, not only because the internet wasn't working for us, but the supporting documentation is, we have some documents set as required. We have some set as optional. So you do have a certain set of required documents for your application that if you do not upload one for each of those particular documents, it's not going to let you proceed. So that's gonna be, helpful going forward. Last year we had the self-reporting where you check the box that you made that upload available. And you could upload them all at once, and that was convenient, but sometimes the record of what you uploaded wasn't clear. But now going forward, you're gonna have to click through and make sure that you are uploading the correct documents. It's just gonna look somewhat like the narrative page. You're gonna have that radio button at the top and bottom that says mark is completed. So again, it's gonna associate a status next to each required document. So preliminary engineering, preliminary architectural report, it says status not uploaded. You're gonna hit the upload button. There it opens the window. Again, you're gonna try to keep that in a single file. So just the upload, save that document, and then it will change the status to uploaded with a check mark next to it. So with each required document, you're gonna have to change that status in order to proceed. And then once you are done uploading documents, so again, if you have any optional documents, supplemental documents, you need to provide those for your project for whatever reason, please make sure you're uploading them then. Consult all the windows that are available. But once you're done that and you've marked it complete, this window will pop up saying, are all the required documents uploaded? So once you agree to that, you hit completed, so that way you can mark the task as complete. And then, again, that main window will refresh the status as from not started to completed. We'll have the green check mark associated with it. And then the last section available is submit application. So this again is where you're gonna go, you're gonna click the edit button and you're gonna go in and say that your application is complete. Again, you're gonna verify, prior to that you've filled out all the sections. Because after you assess this as submitted, there's no editing available. So it's going to create a read-only view of your application. So please make sure that you've filled out all the appropriate sections and that you've run through all the appropriate questions. We hope that the navigation is a little bit more straightforward. Before it was just kind of an all in one go. This is breaking out into sections. That way we can also build our other commerce grant applications this way. So it's going to be a more uniform approach to Salesforce going forward. Will we be able to print out the application? Rosemary asked in the in the chat. We set up this year a PDF generator. So it's going to generate what you input to your application and email it directly to your account. We've tested that back and forth. So you will get a PDF that is sent to you after you hit submit. It'll take a few minutes, but you'll get a PDF sent to you that says, again, the program information and then anything you input. So you'll have a record of that. So we won't have to provide that on the back end. You'll be able to automatically receive that. So thank you for asking. That would be something that is produced. On this next slide, we talk about that. So again, copy the information you input for each section of the application, sent to your personal contact. If there's any corrections that need to be made after the submission, please contact one of our team members. We are thinking, that we don't want to face a lot of thresholds. So if you do have something beforehand to address, please address them with us. We do not, allow a ton of editing, but we do want to make sure that you are providing the appropriate information so that we can evaluate the application honestly. So should an application not pass threshold, the applicant, city or county will not be notified until our award announcements are made. And again, that's on a rolling basis. So we'll visit that as we have applications to announce. In the chat, Devil is saying, so excited to have the application sent to us. This is a big plus. Thank you. Yeah, we're very excited for that too. It's something on the back end that we were having to generate if it was requested. And it wasn't a very precise document. So this is a little bit more nose on and within the system for itself. And then, yeah, it being sectioned out this year is going to be, I think, helpful for the navigation. You'll understand what section of the application you'll be in, and that'll work for other commerce programs as well. So they're building something that's going to be kind of unilateral across the agency. So that's going to be helpful in terms of our standing operating procedure here in the office. That ends our application walkthrough. Again, I'm going to see if I can load my window here. I don't think it will because Salesforce is just being a bugger. But if we could look at an application, I'd show you that live window and just how it looks. But it is all those sections laid out top to bottom. You've got application questions all the way to submit application. So you can see next to each application, section that you've submitted that. But again, if you have any questions about the application process, content-wise, like Jenny said, please reach out to one of our team members. We'll try to get you the appropriate response. Other than that, I think that's all we have for you this month. Like we said early in the presentation, we do not have a third Thursday next month because Juneteenth falls on our third Thursday. However, I believe Tim has carved out, well, Tim, who's no longer here, I point to an empty chair. But Tim has carved out a date for an environmental review training that he wants to go over with pretty much all the grant administrators. I believe he carved out June 12th at this time, so let me verify that. But if you have questions or want to register for that, we'll get that set up pretty soon. So please look for that invitation in lieu of a third Thursday event. But we are starting those office hours, so there'll be other ways to contact us as well as our direct emails. But we appreciate you coming to third Thursday this month. Again, we have the application walkthrough part recorded because we forgot to hit record on the first half. But we will send out the slides so that way you guys have this as a reference. And if you have any questions as you move along from pre-application to application, we're happy to address those. We look forward to reading your applications and your proposals and getting to the communities and make sure the money is well spent. But so ends the rest of our third Thursday, I believe. We'll go ahead and we'll leave this meeting to you guys. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye, thank you.